Hey, Cocomelli, welcome. Let's go. Yo, baby walk, how are you?
I guess that the very popular song of Tracy Chapman, similar name. This market is moving quicker than a fast car.
Hey, Doug.
Getting these triggered. So another
me and
day,
you.
so I'm losing count now of the number of days this.
Guys are gonna. Oh shit! What the fuck? Sorry, that was a bit loud. We're gonna. Kia ora, my clothes brush. Hey, my love.
With level 74.
What is it? Show me.
Brush teeth.
Brush teeth.
Yeah. No, you kind of like the guy. Or like. What about you like to sink? That doesn't work. You want to have an idea?
What if we just did that?
Do you want an idea?
Yeah.
Feeling bored?
Okay, you go. Yo, Benz. Aaron, can you come here 1 second? 1 second. Hello, welcome. Sorry, everybody. Welcome. Okay, today we're gonna be talking about 3 subjects. Welcome in. Infinity. Hi. Hey, Shiny. So we're talking about the Falklands.
Thank you, friends.
Welcome.
Reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
We're going to be talking about some tech stock sell-offs that have been happening today due to some crazy announcements from China. China be causing some issues. China.
They don't know what the they're doing.
China's causing problems for the West. And then we're going to look at some Elon Musk USAID stuff. I think Elon Musk should be referred to the ICC. The guy's a war criminal. So we're going to check some of that out. We're also going to talk about... Oh, you got to do it just on one side. Nice. And then we're going to talk about US and Iran. I'm going to do an update on that. So welcome in, everybody. Hello. Hello there.
I want to be a good boy.
That's it. All I want to be is a good boy.
Hooyah, Navy!
Just a good boy.
Hooyah, Navy!
I just want to be a good boy.
Hooyah, Navy!
The West. Hey, H, welcome. The West is about to be on G's nuts. With a slight naughty streak. Lol.
Thank you, friends.
Alright, let's go, guys. Let's get into it. This is crazy. Check out what's happening with these tech stocks. It's going nuts.
Month that we've seen either the KOSDAQ or the KOSPI just get halted because of just how volatile things have been. But yes, that's where we are currently. So we'll revisit, of course, what goes on there in about 20 minutes when things, of course, resume trade. Joining us here and said to help us make sense of where exactly we are on the Kospi story in the broader Asian markets. Joining us here is Frank Benzimra, head of Asia Equity Strategy.
So China did something that has caused the markets to reverberate, shake. China's done something, and you're about to hear about it. China did something, everybody. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Hey, Lisa. Are you ready to hear about it?
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear
You better be ready.
Aye, aye, Captain!
Hey, Shanna.
At SocGen.
Shanna, I told you I'd be back.
Frank, very
Hey,
nice to see
Chosen.
you and good morning. Has Korea come up?
Well, Korea is by far the most volatile market. That's very interesting to see that the company now, the semiconductor companies are publishing record earnings,
Yeah.
but we are at top margin, and the market is reminding that this market is cyclical.
Hey,
And
Pico Christopher.
we have, on top of that, and maybe a little bit unlike what we see in the US, we have the leverage, which is super concentrated on few names. So when we put all this, we have this volatility on the market.
This is so insane. Just keep listening, okay? I think he's French. Yeah, most probably yes. His name is Frank Benzimra. He has a French accent, yeah. Just keep listening, guys. This is incredible.
Thank you, friends.
What to do now about what's the advice to clients about Korea?
Well, there are two Korea. You have the semiconductor Korea, where you have some deleveraging.
Yeah, China markets fell also, but it's the reason why all of this shit is happening.
Which is happening, which is not being done, and on which we need to be cautious. And then you have the other Korea. You remove the top two semiconductor name, then you have a price to book of 1.5 times at a time when you have some governance reform which are happening and a pretty good level of earnings.
Oh shit! Check this out. Check this out, TikTok. You're gonna love this graph. Are you ready for the graph? Oh shit! Look at the graph. Look at the line on the graph. Buy the dip, everybody. Buy the dip. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy my dips. Don't buy my dip. Okay? Do not buy my dip. Stay away from my dip.
Thank you, friends.
Stay away from my dips.
And I think this is this kind of Korea that we need to focus on now.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of cross currents that you're talking about here. Obviously,
Yeah,
this whole China DUV sort of lithography, whatever innovation that we've been seeing, according to some reports from the information, that certainly is roiling the chips trade here today.
Hey,
you
dear.
add that to the NVIDIA story and these big,
Guy
massive
Fawkes,
frenzy
welcome.
of deals that they keep making here with the likes of SK Hynix and the like is once again sparking.
Also, take off that rag. You can F right off, buddy. Swipe away if you don't like it. Swipe the fuck away. Hey, Kate, welcome.
Those concerns of circular deals, right? So you're seeing that being reflected
Free
across
Palestine.
the
Free Palestine. Free Palestine all day, every day. We are not ashamed.
Globalized intifada.
Free Palestine. This is for the dude in the chat.
Head of Mossad.
Thank you, friends.
Okay.
bond market, credit market, spreads are widening out and the like. So there's quite a bit of angst, not just in this equity market, but also when it comes to bond markets as well. Take a look when it comes to the open in China, and they are not immune to the sell-off here today. You see the Chinex, specifically the tech-heavy benchmark, that's already lower by 3% here right now. You are seeing some big names like Capricorn Tech, that's down by 2. CATL also seeing a bit of pressure in the A-share market. But interesting enough, in terms of bright spots, it's the consumer space, right? So maybe there is a bit of that rotation out of those AI plays here this morning to the likes of Medea Group, Quaychao Maotai, and the like.
You sound like walking virus, bro, I'm sure you're one of those people who didn't take the COVID vaccine as well. Why do I think that? Also, get your measles vaccine as well. Don't listen to RFK, buddy. You sound like a walking conspiracy theory.
Take a look when it comes to what we're seeing across the tech gauges here. Obviously, yesterday it was about CXMT. We are seeing even that stock come off just a bit here today. But this is what the chips sector is seeing here. So you are seeing like the Hua Hong Semi. SMIC is actually going the opposite direction, but most of them are slightly lower here on the back of this report, right? This whole, we saw all happen ASML shares on just one report itself of what China may be doing. A state-backed company in China is mass producing these deep ultraviolet lithography tools. So
what's happened here? China has just announced that they will be completing manufacturing on DUVs. You're meant to buy more if it dips more, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just buy until, as long as it keeps dipping, just keep buying it. Guys, I am not a financial expert. Don't buy my dips. Okay, so China has just announced the release of these DUV machines, deep ultraviolet lithography machines, and that has caused the market to shake uncontrollably, because the West thought it had a monopoly on this. Obviously, the DUV machine isn't the highest level of technology. The EUV machine is. But for all intents and purposes, today, you in Iran? Yeah. I'm just about to go collect my check from the Ayatollah, bro. The EUV is the next level up, but for most of the chips that are made today, you only need a DUV. So tomorrow. Oh dear. Okay. Shall we take him tonight? I can do it. It's all right. He should have gotten better by now, eh? Okay. Yeah. Ginger's stopped eating again, so we're kind of worried. Hey, Darlene, kia ora. You mean the Gayatola? Yeah. So we're kind of worried. I was trying to feed him today, but he wasn't eating. So I don't know what's wrong. Something's happened again. So we're going to take him in again. All right. Anyway, China has announced these machines, and it's mostly using Chinese equipment as well, Chinese materials, and it is causing a massive, massive issue in the markets today.
This adds to the whole kind of tech self-sufficiency sort of theme that we've been seeing alongside CXMT yesterday. How true and how much it delivers is certainly one thing that the sell side is really mapping out here today. I think most of the sell side have chimed in and said, look, when it comes to that technological gap between China and Western names right now, it's still quite wide, right? Masahiro, our BI analyst, is saying it's 7 to 10 years it would take to actually close it at this point. So maybe right now, markets are going ahead of it.
Kosdaq is...
It's always like, oh yeah, China's 7 to 10 years behind Western technology. And then they're like mocking all technology from the West. It's just crazy.
Now triggered the circuit breaker. Trading halted after that index fell by 8% as well. So trading in South Korea's Kosdaq now also in a trading halt. Well, let's get more details now on those stories fueling this AI angst across Asia. Our China correspondent Min Min Lo joins us from Hong Kong, along with Asia equities reporter Winnie Su. So, Min, let's start with you. What do we know about the scale at which China can produce DUV machines? Because this has been one of the catalysts that's seen the sell-off today.
That's right. And this is according to the information's reporting. And according to their sources, China is planning to produce 5 of these machines this year and 20 next year. This is a particular company that is based in Shanghai. It has not been named by the information, but it's a homegrown company that is gathering expertise from other Chinese firms, including a state-backed startup as well. And according to the information, most of the components of these DUV machines are locally sourced, except for some key components that are coming from Japan. So this is sparking the sell-off because we know that ASML has been a major player, in fact, very dominant, one of the few monopolies out there in this sector. And ASML has been prevented from selling its most advanced machines to China. Now, mind you, these DUV machines are not top of the range. The most advanced machines that ASML can sell are the EUV, extreme ultraviolet lithography machines. DUV is deep ultraviolet lithography machines. So it's slightly less advanced, but still the vast majority of chips require only a DUV machine. Only a small sliver of the most advanced chips require EUV machines to make. So this is why we are seeing the market sell off here in Asia as well when it comes to the Kospi, the TAIEX, and many of these tech names in Asia.
I think this is just the beginning of a generational rewrite of so many different of all of these markets. It's a reset because the West weaponized a lot of this like technology stranglehold against the rest of the world, prevented access, did so much to prevent growth in the global South. And now, even with all of those restrictions, even with all of those sanctions, China has been able to do this. And no doubt this is going to have a massive impact. It shows you how bad deindustrialization has been for the West. I just think like this is like these signs are massively worrying for Western tech companies. Because everything Western tech companies are doing, China's matching or very close behind. Kimi is another example. But yeah, I mean, what is this frontier tech now? It's not just Western anymore. Frontier tech is being progressed by the global South now too. It's just the craziest thing. Hey, Dia, welcome.
Want to get to Winnie Su for the second one of those 1-2 punches. And Winnie, it's all about circular financing. I mean, NVIDIA's announced a bunch more deals, financing and taking stakes in projects that are going to use its chips. I mean, there's been worries about circular financing for some time. Why has it all come to a head today?
Yeah, exactly, Paul. You just mentioned how actually we've been hearing about this since last year, but because of these concerns around the hyperscalers spending recently, that is really raising further concerns around this circulation that we're looking at. Now, it is all about how companies like NVIDIA are financing the support for its key customers, and these customers then have further money or funds to then buy more from NVIDIA. And some of the examples we're hearing recently is, for example, the one with SK Group committing about $500 billion between each other. So it is circulation because it includes SK Group buying these supercomputers from NVIDIA, and then NVIDIA also buying memory chips from SK Hynix. Now, this is a little bit...
Yeah, this is what you call a circle jerk, everybody. They're buying chips from... They're investing in each other. They're circle jerk investing each other. In some cases, double fisting. Like it's all turning into like a big gangbang.
Bit unclear in terms of how this money is actually going to be divided. So that is why investors are a bit concerned in terms of how it's a bit less transparent. Now, when it comes to the deal or that...
What the heck is a quintuple Dutch rudder? Okay, I'm not Googling that, bro. What the fuck is that? Hey, not the one. Welcome.
Talk that we heard from yesterday about them potentially backstopping about $250 billion for OpenAI to lease that $500 billion worth of data center being built out by SoftBank in Ohio. That is a bit more complicated.
Oh, shit. Check this out, TikTok. Check this out. Oh, shit. It's dipping. It's dipping. Buy the dip, everybody, but don't buy my dip.
With them providing that $200 billion to
support
the build out of SoftBank. And SoftBank has a big stake in OpenAI, and they lease that data center to OpenAI. Then OpenAI, which is a key customer of NVIDIA, buys further chips from NVIDIA. So that kind of circulation is raising concerns because it potentially skews the demand and also raises the risk when it comes to a potential fallout of this whole AI demand story.
That how she ended that was a bit weird. Anyway, I'm not gonna play that. Yeah, that was a bit weird, wasn't it? Okay. Anyway, yeah, that sell-off happened. That sell-off is happening. That sell-off is happening, and it is. I think it's. It goes to show that the markets are built on this wishful. Is the market spooked? My spidey senses are tingling. Yeah, the market is very spooked at the moment because China just announced that they're gonna be building 5 DUV machines this year and 25 next year, and these are the same machines that build the chips that TSMC uses to build chips, and. Yeah, I was about to say that she ended it. Yeah. Rich people's feels are down. Yeah. It's not just rich people's feels. It's this exceptionalism from the West, thinking that the West has some sort of monopoly on innovation. It reminds me of when DeepSeek R1 was released in the market, panicked a couple of years ago. Yeah. Kimi has done the same thing, but this is different in the sense that this is the hardware monopoly being broken up. The hardware monopoly, the most important part of the monopoly was the chips, right? It was chip making, and now even chip making, China has caught up to even chip making. So. What is the monopoly now? What are Western markets based on? Like, what is the intellectual property that remains for making these products? How can the West charge a premium? It's all falling away. You know, there's no real innovative difference between the West and the global South anymore. It's all catching up, guys. And the free market, which is what the West is, has always been talking about, is about to get very, very not free anymore. It's about to get very unfree. I don't know. I don't know if it's. Oh, he did? Okay. China is playing a huge part in revealing the West's economical weakness and hypocrisy. School holidays, where are you? They have no clue what will come next. Bye-bye hegemony. Yeah, like if you look at every part of Western economy, right? Like whatever advancements the West has had, they've all been chipped away at. And no pun intended. They've all been chipped away at. And the latest one to go are these chips, chip technology. Even when you look at SpaceX, recyclable space launches, China proved that it can do the same. So nothing is is off the cards anymore. The West isn't really doing anything unique. In fact, because it deindustrialized, the West has less production power than the global South. So I actually feel this is like we've been talking about this transitional moment, guys. We've been talking about this transitional moment for a while now, in terms of rare earths, etc. Almost for a year now, and this is the latest step on that journey of like the multipolar world journey. It's finally here, maybe. Yeah, they copied the colonialism, and it's biting us in the ass. I don't like technology and the thought of where the world is heading. Should I end suffering? What are you talking about? That just sounds like some hypocritical shit. You want to end the suffering now when the global South is catching up? Do you want to end the suffering because of your whiteness? Like, I don't understand. Like, do you not feel like the world is subservient to the West anymore? Why do you feel sad? Why are you suffering? Why now? Just think about that for a second. It's finally here, maybe. No, never give up. Yeah. It's crazy. Why do I got to be white? Like, I can only think of like white supremacists thinking that China matching the West is suffering. Okay, why is it suffering? It's equitable. Bro, the world becoming more equitable is a good thing. Practical Magic, hello, hi, welcome. I am ready for the West to be put in its place. I just want to see an equitable world for all, guys. I hate this valuing life, especially like undervaluing life because it's not part of the chosen tribe. In this case, whiteness. If it's gonna take out Nvidia, yeah. From the position of privilege, equality feels like oppression. Yes. I thought it was because I'm a terrible person, I guess. Yeah, I mean, do something about it then. You're not getting rid of the West. You're just some weirdo in an echo chamber. What do you mean? The West is getting rid of itself because of its ego. Why are you so... Fuck, these people are so insufferable. Yeah, see, there you go. See, I knew this Thomp guy was that whole suffering guy ended up saying your ego is just as big, Punjab. I can smell a racist. Okay, all right, guys. Let's watch Elon Musk becoming a war criminal. Let's go. What? You're the one saying you want the West to end and hate white people? When did I say that? Because you said I was white, you racist? Are you white? Are you white, Thomp? I wasn't talking to you, bro. You cannot read? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We've got a couple of snowflakes in the chat, everybody. I'm just not a delusional freak sitting up in some random third world country. Temu is spelled Temu. Temu with Temu earphones. Yeah, one bigot at a time, please, chat. One bigot at a time, thank you.
Everything here is right. We are suffering a lot because there's no plants, no food, and everything has just dried. This is a banana.
Oh shit, we've got Cletus in the chat. USA rules the world, baby! USA! Yeah, dang! Oh! It's the USA! Baby! Yo!
It's drying, it's about to fall down. You see, it's very weak because the roots have already rotten. You can see a lot of water. I can't harvest anything. There's any fruit.
Now let's watch what the USA has done to the world.
Any crop, we're suffering financially.
USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out.
Foreign aid is not charity. It is designed to further the national interest of the United States.
Cuts to USAID might cost millions of lives.
It's false.
The Trump administration say that USAID was wasteful, inefficient, and politically misaligned with American interests.
We canceled a bunch of contracts in USAID. Some were stupid and outrageous.
American exceptionalism has brought so much harm onto the world, including within the US. I think it's just time for us to be knocked down a few pages, and maybe then we'll actually try to collaborate rather than dominate. Yeah, America, I think one of the biggest lies in America has been its constitution. Like, its constitution is not even worth the paper it's written on, you know? It's just some racist, white supremacist piece of paper. And yeah, I just think the delusion of Americans is it's just so heavy wherever they go. They're the loudest people. They're the loudest people. They are the least. A lot of, like, when you look at the education rate in the US, it's pretty fucking stark how bad it is. And like, a lot of the country they have zero manners, and it's like the most violent place in the world. It's like the most violent place in the world. It's this like mishmash of the most stupid things. And they don't have healthcare.
Others didn't serve the national interest.
Marco Rubio and his team promised that they will review every single program that we're canceling.
Well, from our interviews with former staffers, there was no meaningful review process.
Is it true that we are leaving certain countries because they don't
Yeah, free college and healthcare for Israel, though. Yeah, exactly.
align with our strategic interest? Absolutely. That's how diplomacy has been done for thousands of years. That's not cruelty.
What's happening right now is dangerous for the United States and humanity. These are people shutting down an agency and having no clue the work that is being done.
Budget for USAID was 0.6 to 0.7% of our budget every year. That is such a small amount of money, and the predictions of how many people will die as a result is in the tens of millions.
Yeah, so Elon Musk is a war criminal, and I think he needs to be taken to The Hague. He is a war criminal, and yeah, I hope he's held to account. The ICC should 100% be issuing an arrest warrant.
Our investigation shows what happened when you abandon infrastructure projects. 1 year later, people are still living with the consequences. I have always been intrigued about what happened when you...
Oh, by the way, guys, Iran grabbed America by the Hormuz Sea.
Reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
They can't even free the Strait of Hormuz, bro. Crazy.
Live unfinished infrastructure around the world without surveillance, without any safety measure put in place. When USAID was dismantled, I always have this idea. Can we actually track what
I love all the pro-America dudes coming in the chat. They can't even open the Strait of Hormuz.
happening on the ground? The tools we use in this investigation include satellite imagery, mapping, data analysis. We've reviewed over 100 internal documents, and all together has helped us to understand the impact. We also review multiple warnings from former USAID people about how dangerous and risky it was to leave those projects that were not complete.
I think if you were to ask people who worked with me or my husband, they would say that work is the thing I pride myself most on. It's the place I feel safest. When I walk into the office and the doors close behind me, I exhale because I know that my work has meaning. And I've been working in...
Bro, this weenie guy is so... he's crashing out. He's going to call the FBI to deport me. Bro, who gives a fuck? Go call them. What a fucking idiot.
In that space for 20 years. I worked for USAID from 2012 to 2025. My exit from USAID was not voluntary.
That's cool, bro. Do it. Do it. Do it. I don't understand why all Americans think people live in America, but it's like, America sucks, bro. I don't want to go to America. Like, America is a crapshoot, in my opinion. Why the fuck would I want to go there?
Very shortly after the inauguration in January 2025, we heard that there would be a review that would last roughly 6 months of all USAID projects. Our leadership team got together and basically created a dashboard of projects and, said green, yellow, red. If we have to sacrifice projects that don't align as well, these are the ones we'll sacrifice. We certainly didn't approach it as we're going to save everything. We were willing to make concessions. We prepared to defend them. And then all projects in the office that I worked in were canceled, including all WASH projects.
So we decided to look at WASH, the area of water, sanitation, and hygiene.
This is your punishment. You have to suffer with us. Oh, bro. Americans, I think, are truly like so up their own, buttocks. They think the world revolves around them. I just like the first thing this guy thought was I was some brown person living in America. Why would I live in America, man? Like, if anyone had the choice today, I don't think anyone would make the choice to live in America. Like, I think America is probably in lowest on the list of places people want to go. Like, do you want to get arrested by ICE? Like, do you want to be dehumanized? Do you want to be like do you want to be the do you want to be the target of like a school shooting or something? Like, What the fuck? Why would anyone want to go there? It's terrible.
Because very often this area is overlooked. It's not a very sexy area of the funding environment. And yet it's so important for delivering basics like water to communities, helping children under 5 have sanitary conditions, and to avoid waterborne diseases, some of which are often silent killers in a country like Kenya.
Masochist tourism? Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe there's a market for that. I used to want to go visit New York and stuff. I don't even want to go there on vacation now. Yeah, I mean, it sucks, bro. America just is a bunch of, like, racists with guns. Like, why the heck would you want to go there? Hey, Cynthia, welcome.
Taveta is the second largest producer of bananas in the country. The economy of this region entirely depends on farming. We don't have industries around. We depend on the bigger canal plus the small canals going into the farms. Before USAID came, we used to get water, but it was not efficient. The main purpose of this construction was to make sure water gets to the downstream, to the farthest farmer downstream.
The Kamlenza irrigation scheme, you can see right here in this white boundary, this was designed to move water across these set of fields here. When USAID came in to essentially rebuild that scheme, rebuild the distribution points so that farmers would have better access to water, they'd be able to have more productive banana crop. So when the stop work orders came in, there was this whole top section of the canal leading up to the village.
I bet you that dude is really pissed off about Zoran Mamdani as well. He's probably like, God dang, don't bloody invite Zoran. Don't invite Zoran to the 9/11 thing. God damn it. Zoran. I don't care if Zoran was 10 years old. Zoran did 9/11, buddy.
Here, where a lot of it had been dug up and there had been vegetation cleared around the edge of the canal. So you can see all these side canals where water flows that we mapped out. And there are distribution points along this canal in order to be able to move water in both of these directions. Whenever water is coming in from the top of the canal, it can't be controlled, so it just floods all the fields surrounding.
Needed around $217,000 to complete, which in the grand scheme of the USAID's budget was not very much. When the
You for Hamas. Dan Lehman, is that a question? Because
globalized intifada.
order to stop work came in, that site was abandoned as it was clear it would have been more efficient and more beneficial to have these projects completed, but nothing happened despite countless efforts to send the message to the authorities in Washington. So when USAID stopped their work in Kenya, there was a total of 26 projects in the wash space ongoing, and it only would cost around $2 million to actually finish them.
I'll stop condemning Americans when the bombs stop flowing.
A key pattern that we found is that when the stop work order was issued, most of them were already happening. They were not in the design phase or the evaluating phase, so we saw materials that were abandoned on the sites, infrastructure that was halfway done. The Trump administration justified canceling those programs to save money and make those investments more efficient. But we have seen on the ground is a lot of waste.
I would say that there has definitely been wastage of funding due to the cancellation of the projects. It's a really hard number to calculate because there was not a real tally, but I think it's very safe to say that between salaries that had been paid or infrastructure that had been abandoned, that's a significant loss.
The community is wishing that the project never even
Oh my gosh. I thought that was Mary J. Blige. So genocide in Africa is no biggie. What do you mean? Why do you think that? Of course it's a big deal.
Started because we are in more trouble than we were before. We are left to do a cost that we cannot afford.
The claim we were investigating was whether the flooding that happened in the village of Kimarigo this year was directly linked to the unfinished infrastructure project along this irrigation scheme. We knew it flooded a lot this year from this satellite imagery here, from when the report.
Oh, bro, is that what this person meant? The white genocide in South Africa? Oh my gosh, is that what this person is talking about? Did they just like skip over like Sudan and... Can we please talk about what's happening in India right now? Pray for India's Gen Z fighting back. We did speak about it at length. Hey, Colette, welcome.
Reporters were there. So that's where we turned to the radar data, which is showing these dark areas, which is accumulated standing water over this particular rainy season compared to other years. So if you plot the flood intensity index against the cumulative rainfall across this rainy season, 2026 stands out. If you calculate the intensity of...
Noisy, you look 20 years younger without facial hair. Oh, thank you. Black don't crack, yeah. Where are the pro-Pally protesters standing up for Africa and protest Trump and Vance? What do you mean? Like, we talk about Sudan and the DRC. We talk a lot about what's going on in Africa here. I don't know. Who are you talking about, buddy?
Rainfall based on a 7-day average, and you look at a bunch of other statistics, 2026 is not unusual in the amount of rain that it had, yet it is very unusual.
What do you mean? Where are they? Talk mean shit. Like, are you trying to distract away from genocide? Or, like, are you... Like, have you... Let's check your account and see if you've been talking about the genocide in Africa, shall we? Let's take a look. Oh, look. This person hasn't been talking about the genocide in Africa at all. What are you doing? Can you tell me what you're doing about talking up for the genocide in Africa? Like, what have you done? Let's talk about you. I don't see any advocacy here. Have you been doing advocacy? Have you been doing advocacy or no? We've raised money for Sudan here. We've raised money for Palestine here. We've amplified voices here across many different places. What have you done? Nothing. No advocacy. What are you doing? What do you mean links about Sudan? I covered it yesterday, dipshit. Go look at my YouTube channel. You can see the live yesterday. Watch the live yesterday. We covered Sudan yesterday. We've also raised money for Sudan. We've raised money for Darfur IDP. Go check out Darfur IDP. You can go check that out too. We've done advocacy for 3 years, bro. Calm down.
Unusual in terms of the severity of the flooding that happened in this particular village. And the spatial patterns of that show that the western side of Kimarigo, which is near the irrigation scheme, is the area that is different from every other year. It's now a much...
You're not a bro. I call everybody bro, by the way. Now I'm a misogynist. Firstly, I didn't advocate for Africa, but now that I advocate for Africa, now it's something else. It's misogyny. Jeez, these people are ridiculous.
Much worse functioning system than it used to be. So the promise has been totally shattered.
This is my house. I was also hit by the floods. Water raised to that level, so the house is falling. Perhaps for some few months, I'll have no house again. The floor is very cold because the water table is still.
Yeah, it's all goalpost moving. These people they haven't done anything in their life other than, slave away for a few bucks a month. Like, that's all they do. They have never, ever done anything beyond taking care of themselves. And sometimes they don't even do that. They can never, ever put their energy into something that isn't about themselves. That's who these people are. And they come here in large numbers. But they'll never do anything bigger than themselves. And when they see someone else trying to do it, they'll always put them down. Gatekeepers. Useless.
Up, which was a health hazard. Financially, we are not stable. Our chicken, our eggs were all spoiled. All the rivers, all the sources of water, the water is dirty. We normally don't have clean water. In terms of food, it's a crisis. We depend on buying, and we don't have enough money. I live with my wife and 3 kids. My children don't access consistently to school due to fees. When I get, I pay. When I miss, they stay at home. So they are mentally disturbed because they don't go to school.
Guys, we gotta, you mad, bro? Why are you using Israeli tech, your mobile phone? Bro, why are you using Arabic numerals? Your whole life. You're using Arabic numerals. An Indian person invented the number 0. Like, why are you using it? Why are you using Arabic numerals, bro? Why? Why are Israelis using Arabic numerals?
When nothing is put in its place, it can actually have the totally unintended consequence of making things way worse than they actually even used to be. The impacts have been severe, and what we learned was that there were cases of diarrhea that had kind of exploded in the area, particularly with kids under the age of 5, which is, there's a really high mortality rate associated with that.
When there's flooding fast, it blocks the access to the hospital because when the community floods, they have to get into the water to come. So some of them don't even reach. So you get defaulters, deferred immunization, pregnant women can't access health. Then when there's flooding, mostly we get a lot of diarrhea cases. Diarrhea and malaria. In diarrhea cases, most of our patients are under 5 children. Mostly it's because they play with the water. You'll get cases, the mother's reporting that the child was swimming inside the stagnant water. Yes, to them it's fun, but then the health repercussions come through. Some adults also as well get affected, but mostly are children, diarrhea and vomiting.
Just Mel, like, we are a react channel, okay? We pause and we talk about other things as well. We can't watch things like this uninterrupted. That's how it works. Otherwise, like, if you come here to watch videos uninterrupted, you should just go watch the videos yourself. Like, what the fuck?
Haya, nikifanya hivi tumbo inauma. Inauma. Unasikia uchungu? Wapi hapa? Kuna niambia ukweli kweli. Ukweli tumbo inauma. Haya. Bruce ndiye alikuwa anaogelea na mafuriko.
What we find when we engage with countries around the world is that the soft power narrative is really one that's been sort of manufactured by the media. I think what we find...
No, you didn't just ask if there was a link, Mel. You asked, it was a passive-aggressive, if you're going to keep interrupting, why don't you just give me the link? I can go watch it somewhere else. Let's be real.
Again, is that a lot of countries, particularly the places where allegedly we're losing the soft power, are perfectly happy to deal in a more transactional environment. In fact, that's what they're used to dealing with the Chinese and other partners. Again, we tried that old system over the last 20, 30 years, and what did it get us?
People lost lives, people lost jobs. The U.S. government lost credibility. We left people in their homes wondering what had happened to their lives and wondering what would happen to their lives. And I think that that's true of the people we were trying to serve, of the people we had hired, of the people who worked for USAID. It was a blank slate of where does our world go from here?
The notion of water itself has been interesting because you realize that without access to it, there's many spillover effects on human health, on people's neurological development, on the ability for kids to go to school. WASH spending in general probably wasn't under the bracket of life-saving. And yet, we've seen that when you do cut these budgets, it has knock-on effects on people's livelihoods that can lead to death.
What we have seen in Kenya is just a little piece of the whole puzzle. According to our records, at least 80 other programs were canceled around the world, programs that were supposed to bring water to at least 11 million people.
I missed school for almost a year due to lack of school fees. There was nothing to sell.
I'm honestly, I think Elon Musk, just because of this, he lied as well. He lied that, all of these things. Do you remember that Gaza thing as well that we watched the other day? It's like condoms to Gaza, and it turned out to be Gaza in Mozambique. Yeah, bro, this guy is a war criminal and should be 100% at The Hague. He should have an ICC arrest warrant on his head.
And dad has no occupation that he can rely on. I could only wish if I could be assisted in school fees so that I learn and work very hard. And if I also get an opportunity to be someone somewhere, I come back and help the community. Because even if you cannot assist with money, you can create awareness how to control the flooding. I want to make my family feel that they have a girl.
In a statement, a spokesperson for the U.S. Department said plans to revise the 2022 U.S. Global Water Strategy and decisions regarding WASH programs for the 2026 fiscal year remain under review. So this is why America is now not going to be seen as a particularly stable partner for the rest of the world. America has lost its global standing. It is... I think in a very revealing way. I always thought it would happen, but not in such a revealing way. But what we figured out is anything that America did in the world was strings attached, especially as they looted those countries and bombed those countries and took so many homes, lives, children, innocents. It's just the craziest thing that America has done to the world. And the West in general. And the people who suffer are people like this, right? Like in rural Africa, who have nothing, who have very little in their lives. But that's what this whole capitalist structure is about. Ultimately, the West has created this, and what China is doing to disrupt that is so huge. The whole tech sell-off is a crazy deal, and it's happening because the West has relied on extractionism, coercion, exploitation of labor in order to achieve whatever it has achieved. But now China's like, hey, we can match and do better. The only thing is, capitalism is capitalism. It's extractionism. And none of it is good. But the West is going to pay the price, heavily pay the price, because it doesn't have that domination anymore. That's so sad, man. Rightio. Let's get into some Iran updates, everybody. This is the latest. Oh, well, it's not the latest, but it's pretty close. There's some diplomacy happening. But yeah, it's all on a knife edge a little bit. It's all on a bit of a knife edge.
An agreement. Now, speaking at a campaign rally in Michigan, Trump signaled he wants a swift outcome and suggested he is not prepared for prolonged negotiations. Now, Iran has said it was continuing to exchange messages with Washington through intermediaries 3 days into a pause in airstrikes across the region. Tehran said the Trump administration was struggling to find a way out of the 5 months-long conflict. All of this as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrives in Washington for the first time since February. The two leaders are expected to discuss the war on Iran.
And we're talking right now. You know, they wanted to talk. Their people said, please don't shoot last night, the night before, 2 nights. Don't do it. You know, we're having good talks. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, no, the market is not manipulating anymore. Circuit breaker on Kospi got pulled a little while ago. Yeah, we watched about the Excalibur. We just watched it. It's because of that. It's because of the DUV. Is it the DUV machines? Kia ora, Jen. The DUV machines that China said they'd be delivering this year. Crazy, eh? The tech sell-off is huge. They will also discuss the Epstein files here.
I think there's a good chance that something could happen. And if it does, good. If it doesn't, we go back to doing what we were doing 2 days ago.
America thought Iran would collapse in 3 days and will surrender now after months. America is now stuck in this place and they are proud of the crimes, which means they are stuck and they are struggling. The Americans are struggling in their current situation. They have caused this, they have done this, and now they are stuck. We in Iran, we don't care about the worries of America. What is important for us is the Iranian national interest.
All right, our chief U.S. correspondent, Alan Fisher, is standing by for us at the White House. So, Alan, I mean, what are the goals of the talks here between the U.S. and the Iranians? I mean, is it to get back to something resembling the Memorandum of Understanding or something else?
Well, the first intention, of course, is to stop the military action we've seen, albeit stopped for the last 3 nights, over 13 days, and to pave the way for the resumption of talks, which would then lead to the agreement beyond the Memorandum of Understanding to an actual deal. The difficulty, of course, is getting that first step. The United States wants to make sure that the Strait of Hormuz is back open. Iran sees that as something that gives them a great deal of leverage. But the fact that after 13 days of attacks, both sides are talking, there have been no further strikes. But Donald Trump still says, look, if things don't work out, and this doesn't become a deal, we will go back to strong military action, very strong military action is what he's saying. So that hangs over all of these talks. So it's clear they would like to get to a deal, but it's going to take a lot of work. Remember, when the Memorandum of Understanding was signed, the intention was there'd be 60 days of talks. that could be extended by both sides, and they would hopefully come up with a deal. That clock hasn't even started, so there's still a lot of talking and a lot of time to be spent on trying to get peace between Iran and the United States.
And Alan, as I mentioned earlier, the president is going to be meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Tuesday. What is likely to be on the agenda here? I mean, what are the issues between the U.S. and Israel that need to get ironed out?
Well, you probably can't quite hear, but just the other side of the fence here at the White House is where
I think they're going to be discussing escalation with Iran. I have a feeling Netanyahu's presenting the plan. There's so much, like there's a huge increase in military in the Middle East right now, American military in the Middle East. The UK has approved the use of their bases. Andy Burnham has approved the use of their bases for attacks on Iran. So I think there's going to be a larger attack coming, a large-scale engagement with Iran.
Benjamin Netanyahu is going to spend the night in Blair House. It's a very short walk from the front gate here, but already protesters are gathering there to express their anger at Benjamin Netanyahu and what happened during the war in Gaza and also the ongoing war in Iran. At the moment, the meeting between the two men is not expected to be public, but we know Donald Trump, that can change very quickly indeed. What is interesting, of course, is that during the peace talks with Iran, Israel, which was one of the countries that joined with the United States, the only country that joined with the United States in attacking Iran, was not involved in the peace talks. There are many in Israel who believe that the United States should not come close to making a deal. In fact, that they should resume the war. And there's certainly plenty of people in Washington, D.C. who would agree with that. Now, Donald Trump,
I can't even read that comment. I'll get banned on platforms.
Trump has expressed his frustration with Benjamin Netanyahu. He has said several times that he feels he's not seeing the big picture. And sometimes you're not sure whether both men are on the same page or whether they're diametrically opposed to one another. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any readout from either side after that meeting. And of course, there's also the added issue of the United States selling aircraft to Turkey. Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't want that to happen. Donald Trump was asked about it in the last few hours. He said, we'll sell to whoever we want. So it could be a very interesting meeting at the White House on Tuesday.
Interesting to say the least. All right, our chief U.S. correspondent, Alan Fisher, for us from the White House. Alan, thank you. So that was The View from Washington. Al Jazeera's Tauhid Asadi now takes...
I think there's preparation for a wider... I know, guys... It feels like things are moving. It feels like America is stalling to me. It really does. I just think they're setting up for a massive attack, and they're doing it under the they're doing it again, right? Like this is more negotiations, and during the negotiations, they're going to bomb them again.
So look at all of this from the Iranian capital, Tehran.
Iran is not going to allow the United States to determine the timing of peace or war. This is perhaps the most important sentence from the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs weekly press conference. And also we know that it comes within a context that Iran is trying to send a mixed message, a two-sided one, based upon which the country is saying that there is full preparation for confrontational scenarios on the horizon. And on that, we've got it from the army of the country saying that in case of any attack by the United States, there are going to be more crushing and stronger retaliations. Meanwhile, the country is saying that...
What? 4,500 soldiers unalived? Nah, bro. I don't know where you got that number from.
The doors for diplomacy are neither open nor closed, but rather ajar. And
great billboard. That was awesome.
On that regard, they also said that they haven't requested any talks with the United States, but the mediated negotiation and mediated communication is still underway, seeing the role of Qataris, Pakistanis, and other regional players in that regard. We know that the country is trying to practice a sort of cautiously calibrated pragmatism impacted by a cloud of mistrust regarding any rapprochement towards the United States. And also in that regard, we know that it's oscillating between the rhetoric of war and the rhetoric of peace. And last but not the least, we know that the situation is marked by three important characteristics. First, the ambiguity, because
yeah, I think the total casualties is in the few hundreds. So casualties meaning injured as well. So I think it's like a few hundred. But I don't think it's thousands, man. No way.
Because this is not just for the first time that they are talking about hopes about diplomacy, specifically seeing the statements coming from the US President Donald Trump. B, it's the breakable nature of the situation. We know that for the past nights, we didn't see that much of exchange of fire in this.
How is Ginger doing? He's okay. He's recovering. He wasn't eating today, but now he's had a few bites. We're worried about him still. He's refusing to eat. He refused to eat today until just now. He's had a few bites. But yeah, it's he ate something, but he refused to eat for a while there today. Maybe he just needed his mum to feed him, because he probably wasn't happy with me feeding him for some reason. He just needs pie. I hope he eats more soon. Yeah, me too. I want him to eat like a full bowl, take a massive dump, and then I'll be like, yep, he's back.
Brutal ceasefire currently in place, but also we know that there is a potentiality for a new round of escalation and C factor, and that is the complicated nature of issues. We know that, speaking of diplomacy, there are a lot of points of contention when it comes to the nuclear dossier of the country, when it comes to the sanctions, when it comes to war reparations, and when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz, perhaps one of the most important controversial issues.
Just cross-dress in wives' clothes, easy. Bro, he's a dog. He's not blind, okay? He knows I can't pretend to be my wife around this dog. He's very smart, trust me.
Issues between the two sides, and on that Iran is putting emphasis that it's going to maintain a level of control and authority over the Strait of Hormuz. And perhaps this is one of the most controversial issues, as the country is also saying that any passage through the trajectory of this geostrategically significant choke point should be coordinated with the Iranian side, and should be within the trajectory defined by the Iranians, which is quite close to the Iranian borders. Another sign of control and authority that Iran is trying to implement pertaining to the Strait at this time. I can say at the end of the day, what remains the name of the game is uncertainty. Toida Sadi, Al Jazeera, Tehran.
Yeah, it is. It's uncertainty. I think this meeting with Donny Boy and Netanyahu is about the next wave of attacks. I hope I'm wrong. Okay, I hope I'm wrong. I don't understand why Netanyahu would go there in the first place. I think it's very easy to. Every time Netanyahu's gone to America after that, there's been like massive engagement. So I'm not going to be surprised if they try again. I'm not going to be surprised if they try attacking Iran again in some big way. Liminal glitch. Thank you for the follow.
President Donald Trump says the United States is holding good talks with Iran and believes a deal is possible.
Yeah. When has Trump ever said good talks with anybody when, he does not have the leverage? I think that's bullshit.
He warned US airstrikes would resume if negotiations fail. Tehran says Washington is struggling to find a way out of the conflict that's been going on for 5 months now.
And we're talking right now. You know, they wanted to talk. Their people said, please don't shoot last night, the night before, 2 nights. Don't do it. You know, we're having good talks. So we'll see what happens. I think
he can't even look up when he's saying it as well. Like, did you see him? He's just constantly looking down at the floor. He can't even look people in the eyes anymore. He can't even look people in the eyes because he knows everyone understands how full of shit he is.
2 nights. Don't do it. You know, we're having good talks.
Look at him.
So we'll see what happens. I think there's a good chance that something could happen. And if it does, good. If it doesn't, we go back to doing what we were doing 2 days ago.
Paul Musgrave is here in the studio with me. He's an associate professor of government at Georgetown University in Qatar. Let's pull all of these threads together, Paul, if we may. Let's start with Donald Trump there, because Washington...
I heard they have not enough ammunition for a full war. I think there's definitely going to be an assassination attempt or 2 on that meeting. You think so? I don't know, guys. Like, I'm not going to make that speculation, but I think whatever happens, let's keep the analysis on, you know, information we have at hand, and based on previous meetings, I think there's only one reason why Netanyahu goes there, and it's to pitch, you know, a new escalation. Netanyahu isn't going to go to America if it wasn't to pitch a new escalation, man. Like, he's going to pitch a new escalation. Or, like you said, Liminal, he's going to get assassinated. Anything in between that could happen. Netanyahu assassination, Netanyahu pitching a new attack, whatever is in between can also happen. Oh, yeah. We can talk about Abdul Al-Sayed after this as well, because he smoked Haley Stevens in that debate, didn't he?
Washington insists that it is engaged in, quote, very deep talks with Iran. Tehran's foreign ministries...
Wow, not that fast. I clearly stated it was a thought and an attempt. Yeah. It's just like it's the thought is, let's just say it's I think it's based more on the hate for Netanyahu than based in anything that, you know, any information about it, right? Like, I'm sure I'm not wrong there. It's not like his assassination has been talked about that publicly. Fox 2 poll on the coverage had Abdul as the winner, 95-5. Yeah, crazy.
Flatly denying direct negotiations. Everything seems to be going through intermediaries right now. How should we read that diplomatic disconnect? Are both suggesting that they have an appetite to move things forward diplomatically, while at the same time making sure that their armies and weapons are on standby?
Well, both sides have an incentive to say that talks are or are not ongoing. Donald Trump wants to be able to show the American people that he's making progress, or at least exhausting every avenue before resorting to military force again, if that becomes necessary in his judgment. The Iranian government doesn't want to say that they're talking to the Americans through any possibility. So you have to read these statements in that light. On the other hand, it does seem like talks are proceeding, at least, as we heard from Rasul, over the Strait of Hormuz. And you see some softening of the Iranian position, some creative diplomacy and uses of formulas like the Malacca model to make some sort of an agreement over the Strait of Hormuz possible. You know, we're dealing with very big issues here. The nuclear program, ballistic missiles might come back into play, and of course the Strait of Hormuz. Everybody understands that military options might come back to the fore, but neither the United States nor Iran has any substantial desire to go back to a large-scale military conflict. I think the wild card that a lot of people are looking at today is what happens when President Trump meets Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu in Washington as part of the funeral of Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the most ferocious Iran hawks, and somebody whose passing has really influenced U.S. foreign policy in Ukraine and Israel.
Let's start with the Malacca Strait model that you've just mentioned there, because Oman appears to have presented this proposal to the Iranians. Malacca Strait obviously being that key waterway between the Indian and Pacific Oceans, between the Malay Peninsula and Sumatra. It's Singapore, Thailand and Malaysia that administers that waterway. This isn't entirely new. We know that both Iran and Oman have suggested joint management of the strait in the past. So is the suggestion that this is different, that may potentially be more agreeable to Iran? What do we understand is going on here?
I literally already forgot that Lindsey Graham is dead. Oh my gosh. Kia ora fixed today. Kia ora. Get this guy off the show. He is anti-America, but he's pro-socialist and pro-Islam. Wow. I am anti-American imperialism for sure.
Well, based on Rasul's reporting, it sounds like the Omani proposal would have much more room for regional consultation. And the proposal...
I'm anti-American imperialism and I am pro-equity for all.
There reflects the reality that for members of the GCC, the Strait of Hormuz is an economic lifeline. It's where exports and imports come into, and it's something that, despite people talking about large-scale infrastructure projects, it's going to be very hard to replace. That model recognizes the importance of this. The Iranian proposal, as was...
I can't believe you would say something so anti-Semitic. Is that... Please put a kappa at the end if that was sarcasm. Please. I am extremely gullible.
Was reporting really requires a two-country Muscat-Tehran, a condominium over the strait, in which, almost by definition, Iran would have the upper hand.
I'm too old to do emotes, sorry.
The strict Malacca model is one about voluntary, cooperative, problem-solving management of the ecological and navigational challenges and having a huge maritime waterway. If that really were the outcome, that would be something that's compatible with international law. That's something where there's a good model and would also avoid the kinds of international condemnation and potentially widening of conflict that an Iranian insistence on making the Strait of Hormuz a domestic Iranian passageway would have.
Right. So if there is a point of agreement between Oman and Iran over this, it's that, okay, potentially fees can be charged for vessels transiting through the strait. We don't yet know the details of how that might work. The point where they diverge is over this issue of a consortium, right? The idea that other GCC states may have a say or a degree of influence over that protocol. Why might Iran be squeamish about not being the dominant force in that arrangement? Why are they concerned, do you think, about the GCC being part of a consortium?
Well, Iran has learned over the past several months that it has an effective veto of the physical transfer of cargoes through the Strait of Hormuz. To hardliners, that looks like a lever that they can use to exert their influence over this region. On the other hand, they don't have the ability to allow their own Navy, their own cargo to go through the strait unilaterally. The United States has shown that it has a veto over that. So for Iran, the question of who gets to set those fees, whether they are mandatory, how they are described, that is something that really matters because it cements the degree, the formal recognition of Iranian influence. If the GCC has a greater say in this, then that actually means that this is part of a more lasting security architecture. Folks in the GCC, I think, understand very well that Iran is not going to go away, that there needs to be some sort of a new equilibrium established. But Kuwait, Bahrain, and Qatar in particular all have real interest in making sure that that strait can be used and that it's not going to be closed off arbitrarily.
By the way, did you guys see Zoran Mamdani's announcement about the prices, about the supermarkets? I thought it was pretty good. Welcome, Salma.
James Madison once wrote that the power to tax is the power to destroy. And that, I think, is something where if Iran has the ability to really just tax that strait, then you could have something that looks like a much more formal, much greater degree of Iranian hegemony over this region.
The irony is that before Iran and the United States began this war against Tehran, Israel and the United States, I should say, that waterway was open to all international traffic. We're talking about a complete change of the status quo.
Hey, by the way, the goal of the FIFA World Cup was the Cabo Verde goal against Argentina. The third goal. What a beautiful goal, too. Damn.
Because of decisions made in Tel Aviv and Washington. As you say, Netanyahu is going to be sitting down with Donald Trump. President Zelensky is going to be there as well. Both of them for Lindsey Graham's funeral, as you say, a hawk when it comes to both Russia and...
Zora, I see you in the chat. I see you in the chat a lot. I see you in the chat a lot. I hope you're okay. I never actually say hi to you. How are you? I think what language are you speaking, Zora? Is it Italian, Spanish? I don't know what language Zora is speaking. Hey, Leah, but welcome. I've never said hi to you. I think I don't know why.
And indeed Iran, do we expect Netanyahu to have Donald Trump's ear at the same time that all of these negotiations are going on around the future of the Strait of Hormuz?
I think that Prime Minister Netanyahu, it's on the public schedule. He's going to have a chance to make a case to Donald Trump. Netanyahu, of course, under political pressure
Italian?
at home, his own personal popularity, the popularity of his coalition suffering, looking forward to those general elections in October. One of the things is that Netanyahu's stock and the stock of Israel in the United States has really plummeted as a result of this war, as a result of the choices that were made back in February. And whereas back in February, Prime Minister Netanyahu could make a direct pitch to President Trump that, President Trump was very receptive about how this war would go. Now we've seen that this war...
And my son and I would certainly never come to America. Oh, Zora, you're awesome. Guys, Zora's awesome. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. Zora's amazing. Let's go, Zora. Straight up. Straight up. Oh, my gosh.
Intifada.
Well said, Zora. Well said. Well said. Straight up.
Wasn't a quick in and out excursion. This was, in fact, something that led to something that many people describe as a quagmire, even a defeat. And I think that President Trump is probably going to be a much more skeptical audience. That doesn't mean that he's going to say no to whatever Prime Minister Netanyahu is pitching, but it does mean that I think there's going to be much more resistance than there would have been 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, Trump's word.
Megs is like, I'm in America and I don't want to be here. Megs. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh, Megs, welcome. Listening and working, testing a new plugin I coded. Nice. I'm on planet Earth and I want to leave. No, Liminal. No, it's the only planet we know. Where do you want to go? Mars? Like, what? No, do not leave Earth. You don't leave Earth.
Words when it comes to a breakthrough.
Hey,
either it goes fast or not at all. Clearly, his patience is running thin. Paul, really good to get your thoughts, as always. Paul Musgrave, Associate Professor of Government at Georgetown University of Qatar.
That exoplanet with water is looking promising. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, so Zoran came out with this... hold on. Let me just... His supermarket thing. He's doing everything, man. Everything he said he'd do, he's doing. Everything. Zoran ain't holding back. Zoran's doing it all. He's almost delivered his whole thing. Hey, Mama Kona, welcome. Leaving Earth sounds nice. Really? Never. Why would you want to leave Earth, guys? We've got to save Earth, not leave. We can't leave Earth. Okay, so this is his announcement.
We know that for many New Yorkers, 30% at the grocery store means something very different. Since 2019, food prices have soared at grocery stores around the country by roughly 30%, in fact. Talk to shoppers around the city, and you'll often hear the same frustration. Wages have not kept up. Making matters even worse, some corporations have built out technology that allows for something called surveillance pricing, collecting personal data to charge some people more than others for the same carton of eggs.
Whoa, is that real? They're doing data mining and charging people more for the same product? No. I don't believe you. Is that true?
The same gallon of milk. All of this leaves too many New Yorkers feeling like groceries are out of reach. And that is frankly unacceptable, which is why city government is stepping in to make people's lives more affordable. Today, I am proud to announce a collection of essential staples that will be predictably 30% cheaper at all 5 of our city-run grocery stores.
30% cheaper. 30% cheaper, everybody. 30% cheaper. If you're in America and you're not living in New York, what are you even doing? If you're in America and you're not living in New York, it's like, why don't you just swim in the sea on a cold winter's night?
This core set of goods will include all fresh produce, meat, and seafood, along with 20 other essential items like cheese, milk, and bread. Here's how it will work. Once a month, our 5 city-run grocery stores will set prices for this core set of goods at 30% below typical retail prices. No exceptions, no gimmicks. The savings will last.
Guess I'm moving to the sea, bro. Megs. First, you want to leave America. I guess moving to the sea is leaving America. Wishing I was living in New York. I can't afford to move. Maybe what Zoran can do next. Maybe what Zoran can do next is make traveling to New York cheaper. Subsidized.
For the entire month. That means no weekly fluctuations nor sticker shock at the checkout line. Not for our seniors living on fixed incomes, nor for the parents who rely on a regular supply of apple slices to keep toddler tantrums at bay. Now, can we all see this incredible example of
He's holding up some unripened bananas.
Produce in my hand. Now you will see these plantains here. So for anyone wondering,
bro, what the fuck is a plantain? That's a banana, bro.
How much these beautiful plantains might cost, you can use this QR code or head to grocery.nyc to access our policy report. I'm going to demonstrate exactly what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, the QR code does work. You can see this here. There you can learn more about our city-owned grocery store program, including the 30% discount. 30% off adds up.
Okay, man. America is just plantains, fucking miles, pounds. What did you keep that was normal? Like, did America like implement anything just normal? Fahrenheit. What the fuck? Peanut butter with jelly? Yeah. Plantain is not a banana. Okay, guys. What he held up look like fucking green bananas. Okay? Unripened bananas. It looked like unripened bananas. Your country doesn't have toilets. New Zealand doesn't have toilets. What? Tony, You're literally fucking... Your country has the case of explosive diarrhea. Like, everyone's just exploding with diarrhea everywhere, Tony. Having toilets doesn't even matter. You're literally shitting all over your country right now. What are you talking about, buddy? Like, your produce gave everyone explosive diarrhea, bro. You're from an underdeveloped... Bro, think about how underdeveloped you are. You don't even have health care. Tony, you have explosive diarrhea. Your measles... Your measles rates are going up. Like, America has diseases that are being cured in Africa, bro. Like, you are the third world. It's like the purge in America. Like, you're shooting each other. What are you talking about? Tony, you don't even know where New Zealand is, bro. You have to Google it. Tony, and you're stuck in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran grabbed you by the Hormuz Sea. Literally. Like, you can't do anything right.
We know that for many New Yorkers,
Tony, your ancestors are from Europe, bro. You're not even American.
Do you understand that?
You're not even from the United States, Tony. You're just another European dude lopping as a fucking American. You're an immigrant. Tony. My gosh. No one likes you in America, Tony.
New follower detected.
So there we are.
Oh my gosh. You're sitting around complaining. The U.S. is mass murdering children, Tony. The U.S. is mass murdering children around the world, Tony. Of course I'm complaining about the U.S., Tony. You immigrated to a country that's mass murdering children, Tony, and has explosive diarrhea all around the country. What are you doing? Go back to Ireland, bro. It's better. I don't live in the US, buddy. I don't care for it. I want to go to Ireland now. Wipe your ass. Wash your ass, Tony, with water. Get a bidet.
we know that for many New Yorkers, 30% at the grocery store means something very different. Since 2019, food prices have soared at grocery stores around the country by roughly 30%, in fact. Talk to shoppers around the city, and you'll often hear the same frustration. Wages have not kept up. Making matters even worse, some corporations...
On behalf of all Irish people, I apologize for Tony. We aren't perfect. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, bro.
Corporations have built out technology that allows for something called surveillance pricing, collecting personal data to charge some people more than others for the same carton of eggs, for the same gallon of milk. All of this leaves too many New Yorkers feeling like groceries are out of reach. And that is frankly unacceptable, which is why city government is stepping in to make people's lives more affordable. Today, I am proud to announce a collection of essential staples
thank you for the follow.
that will be predictably 30% cheaper at all 5 of our city-run grocery stores. This core set of goods will include all fresh produce, meat, and seafood, along with 20 other essential items like cheese, milk, and bread. Here's how it will work.
Hi. Do you want to You want to tell me a joke? Oh, what? Aaron, that's a bad word. I love you. No, don't shut the door. I love you. Please, come here. Give me a cuddle before you go. I need a cuddle, bro. Come here. I just want to cuddle. I love you. I love you.
It's cuddle more better.
Once a month, our 5 city-run grocery stores will set prices for this core set of goods at 30% below typical retail prices. No exceptions, no gimmicks. The savings will last for the entire month. That means no weekly fluctuations nor sticker shock at the checkout line. Not for our seniors living on fixed incomes, nor for the parents who rely on a regular supply of apple slices to keep toddler tantrums at bay. Now, can we all see this incredible example of produce in my hand? Now, you will see these plantains here. So for anyone wondering how much these beautiful plantains might cost, you can use this QR code or head to grocery.nyc to access our policy report. I'm going to demonstrate exactly what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, the QR code does work. You can see this here. There you can learn more about our city-owned grocery store program, including the 30% discount. 30% off adds up
Hello? Yes, there we go. Yeah, he bumped his head into my nose. He bumped his head into my nose, and yeah, it started bleeding. When I'm sick, I get nosebleeds. When I'm sick, I get nosebleeds. So, like, even the smallest bump into my nose, or like if I blow my nose too hard, I get nosebleeds. So, hey, Auntie Wash, welcome. Sorry, guys, I had to dip out. Your kiddo kicked you square in the balls today. Hey, is Tony still here, or did he leave? Hey, Deez, how are you? Is Tony still here, or did he leave? He's flying back to Ireland. He's flying back to Ireland. Echo? What? Is there echo? I don't think there's echo. You made a clip of Tony? No echo. Okay. All right, we're gonna listen to some. Oh yes, there was a couple of clips I wanted to play for you guys before we went into some Fareed Zakaria Cope. This is another one. This is another little clip here. Bill de Blasio. Do you guys know who Bill de Blasio is? New York mayor, former New York mayor, Bill de Blasio. Billionaire, yep. Disappointing former mayor. Yeah, this is what he said on Fox News. Listen.
He knew he didn't have the authority to arrest Netanyahu, but went out and said it anyway. And was that all political theater?
I think he drew attention to the fact that Netanyahu is literally a war criminal. This guy's policies led to the deaths of tens of thousands of Palestinian children. And that defines a war crime to me and to so many people around the world.
Are you the defining factor? Like, are you the authority?
The international.
What is a war crime?
Oh shit! They got pissed off.
Look, the International Criminal Court should mean something.
We're not a party to it.
It still should mean something to the entire world. Because this is, look, what do you call a leader who authorizes this kind of killing? To me,
somebody who was he responding to something that happened to the Israeli people on October 7th?
There was a horrible massacre, terrorist attack on October 7th. Absolutely unacceptable.
Does
but the response to that, wait a minute.
Does Hamas, though,
the response
put innocent
is not
people in harm's way?
Violence that killed tens of thousands of children.
Do you think that Hamas puts innocent people in harm's way?
Of course, but do you think if Hamas does something wrong, it means Netanyahu and Israel therefore can do something even worse?
I think if Hamas is hiding innocent people and they are dying in a war that Hamas started, that yes, Hamas is at fault. I believe that.
If you want to say,
I don't need an authority to tell me that.
Listen to what I'm saying. We know the famous two wrongs don't make a right. What Netanyahu did not only caused massive civilian death, it has turned so much of the world against the Israeli government and the Israeli state. So he has harmed his own people, and guess who thinks that? The Israeli people. So his approval in Israel is even.
Guys, this is why, you know, when people say, oh, you know, the ICJ still hasn't called it a genocide. You know, the people who shift the goalposts constantly. This is why my feeling has always been that even if the ICJ calls it a genocide, people will still move the goalpost.
New follower detected.
Right? They will still move the goalpost. It doesn't matter to these people who calls it a genocide or who doesn't. It's in their mind, it's never ever going to be a genocide because it's their person, it's their side. Their side can never ever commit a genocide. This is what white supremacy is. This is what bigotry, racism is all about. When a live stream genocide is happening, they'll still deny it. And you know, not just deny it, but global structures will also agree with them. Just like it's happening in Palestine right now, the West has not sanctioned Israel, Because in the eyes of the West can do no wrong. What's happening to the Palestinian people in the West's psyche, at least within the institutions of the West, is that what's happening to the Palestinians is just and was started by the Palestinians. It's all the Palestinians' fault that it's happening to them. This is what an abuser relationship looks like. An abusive relationship looks like. Right? It's always the fault of the victim. And that's what the West has always been. It has been the abuser and calling the victim and saying it's the victim's fault because they couldn't defend themselves or they did X, Y, and Z that hurt themselves. That's the reality of this situation right now. Is they're looking at the genocide and they're going, yep, it's okay for Netanyahu to do it because it's the Palestinians' fault. Why you aren't talking about the religious genocide in Nigeria by Muslims as well? Because there is no religious genocide in Nigeria. Muslims and Christians are being killed. It's Nigerians who are being killed by terror organizations. You just want it to be, no, it's not bullshit, bro. This is what I mean. You're trying to paint a narrative that Christians are the only ones being targeted in Nigeria, and even Nigerians don't agree with you. These people are stupid. Like, there are so many Muslim people being killed as well in this. There are so many Muslim people being murdered there as well. Like, it's both. It's everybody. There are atheists being murdered by these people too. Like, they want to make something. They want to make this about religion so bad. In 2980, what are you even talking about, bro? You're not making any sense. Started a war in 2980? What the fuck? Craziness. Okay, let's listen to Fareed Zakaria coping that his house curry ass is starting to feel it. PLO Palestinians start the wars in the Lebanon in 19. Bro, go type whatever you're typing into ChatGPT and tell it to like rewrite your sentence because you're not making any sense, buddy. Because if you're trying to say that the PLO is started the war, well, in 77 years ago, 1947, 48, the Nakba happened. Like, what are you talking about? You have no clue what you're talking about. The media always tried to make Northern Ireland about religion. Yeah, exactly, Vaughn. Exactly. They'll try and make it about religion and not about self-determination, you know? It's insane.
This week, Britain installed its 7th prime minister in barely a decade. France has churned through almost as many in just a few years. Its next president...
You're uneducated. PLO started it. What? The PLO it didn't even exist when the Nakba happened. What are you talking about? PogChamp, bro, if you don't like my live, why do you keep coming here? Why do you keep coming? Like, you're just... You're a simpleton. They keep coming into my fucking live. This PogChamp person got pissed off. This PogChamp person got pissed off because I was calling out white supremacy. They are a snowflake. PogChamp is a little snowflake, by the way. Just letting everybody know.
May well be the once outcast Marine Le Pen. In Germany, the far-right AfD, tiny just a few years ago, now polls in first place. Even East Asian democracies, often viewed as stable, cautious, even boring, have seen governments in Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan struggle in the midst of growing public anger. And where the populace are in power, the situation doesn't seem that different. Donald Trump now hovers near the lowest approval ratings of any modern American president at this point in a presidency. Can modern democracies function? Across the democratic world, many countries tax, borrow, and spend exorbitant amounts. Spending now averages more than 40% of GDP in the OECD countries, and the debt to GDP ratio in those countries has more than doubled over the last 30 years. But people don't seem to think they have benefited. Why has this happened? Some of it is economic. Expensive housing, stagnant incomes, and a widening inequality problem have fueled public anger. But economics is only part of the story. America has enjoyed stronger growth than most other advanced economies. France under Macron has lowered unemployment, and it has attracted more foreign investment than any country in Europe for 7 straight years, according to an Ernst & Young analysis. South Korea is an economic success story.
You see how he's going to talk about he's going to talk about the West only.
Japan was experiencing a comeback, yet democratic governments almost everywhere are unpopular. The larger explanation is that we are living through one of history's great technological revolutions. And these transformations...
He'll never talk about the global south, because Fareed Zakaria being a house curry is all about, representing white supremacy. And this house curryism is very problematic. These are brown faces who've got white supremacy so far down their throats that if they're shit, it's gonna be white supremacist come. And it's like it's just bad. They are all about adjacency to white supremacy. Their whole life is validated when they're in rooms. When they're in rooms where white supremacy can validate their ego. That's what they represent. It's people like Fareed Zakaria, people with his attitude, people like Sundar Pichai, people like Satya Nadella, people like my brother, for example, CEO of Air New Zealand. These are people, these are the types of people, these are the types of attitudes that allowed the British to go in and do what they did to India. These are the house curries of the world. They are the collaborators of the world. They are the ones who make it okay to exploit Indian labor.
Always produced.
Vivek Ramaswamy, yes. I use it. I'm obviously like the reason why. By the way, that's my term that I use, because in Aotearoa, New Zealand, Indians get called curry munchers a lot. Like that's a slur, and it's about reclaiming the word curry. And house curry is just someone who is a collaborator. It's like the N word, I guess, in some ways.
Deep anxiety and fear. The last technological transformation on this scale came between roughly 1880 and 1920. Electricity, the telephone, railroads, the automobile, and movies overturned entire industries and ways of life. Millions left farms for cities. Global trade disrupted local economies. New fortunes appeared overnight, while old occupations disappeared. In this turmoil, frustration and anger found political pathways. The left turned to communism, the right to fascism. What followed were new mass movements, cultural upheavals, and world war. Our own revolution is digital rather than electrical, beginning with computers, then the internet, and then smartphones, social media, and now AI. The latter might prove more transformative.
We use it in the black community. Means slave that sells out to get in the house. Yeah. The house curry and the field curry, right? Room or fridge temp for me. Guinness. There is an echo. You may have to swipe out and swipe back in, Anne-Marie.
As DeepMind's Demis Hassabis said last week, we've essentially found a way to make sand think. Silicon chips are made of sand. The ability to mass produce intelligence that gets more powerful every month is surely the greatest technological triumph in history. But that means it could be the most disruptive. The great political scientist Samuel Huntington noted, the primary problem of politics is the lag in the development of political institutions behind social and economic change.
People like Fareed Zakaria, I remember Fareed Zakaria went on a panel with a bunch of NATO leaders, and he was the, I guess, the MC for that event. It happened. I covered it here on this channel. I don't think I've ever seen Fareed Zakaria feel more validated in a room than being around white supremacy and white people with power. That's how I think that was a moment that Fareed Zakaria will be proud of for a very long time. A defining moment for Fareed Zakaria, you might say. To be an MC at a NATO leaders Q&A, NATO leaders panel. That's the kind of person it is. He is, sorry. I like listening to his cope, though. I think Fareed Zakaria cope is great because he's such a, pro-West dude, like pro-white supremacy, pro, like, capitalism, pro-exploitation of the global South, pro, like, believing in this Western civilization bullshit that Elon Musk talks about. He's one of those house curries. And I love the cope. When he's talking about China's rise or India's rise, he can't avoid, making these silly quotes about Fareed is a liberal. Yeah, he is. He is a lib. But he is the type of brown face that Ruha Benjamin's speech when she was referring to black faces. He is that for brown faces. He's a brown face in a high place that has allowed himself to be conscripted into a position of power that seeks to maintain the oppressive status quo. These are the collaborators. These are the brown faces that are often put in front of audiences to validate some of the most evil shit, like the genocide in Gaza. I'll show you one thing that Fareed Zakaria said about the genocide in Gaza. And to me, that was the moment that I knew this guy was a terrible, terrible human being. Hold up, let me find it. Yeah, this one.
The one I think that is now really in the catbird seat. And let's personalize it, because I do think the big winner out of all this is Bibi Netanyahu. And let's be honest, you have had your disagreements with him. I've had my disagreements with him. He has handled this remarkably well. Put aside the Gaza issue for a moment, which is its own very complicated issue and certainly a humanitarian catastrophe. But in the north, what Bibi did was fundamentally change the balance of power in the region. He went after Hezbollah. They collapsed, turned out to be a paper tiger. He goes out, he continues the strikes on Syria. The Syrian regime collapses. He goes after Iran's air defenses. The Iranians turn out to be a paper tiger as well, can barely respond to those attacks on their air defenses, and then decides to go after Iran itself. He also figures out how to, lack of a better word, to play Donald Trump. He gets Donald Trump to support him. Trump says he wants a deal. He says, yeah, you keep trying to do a deal. And then when the deadline that Trump had set expires, this is, by the way, the first deadline that Trump has ever set where once it expired, he actually did something about it, right? He says to him, now you got to let me go. Guessing, I think, that the Israeli operation would go well and that Trump would have FOMO and, fear of missing out and want to jump in. And I think he managed all of that remarkably well. Look, he got a number of lucky breaks along the way, but I think he did the strikes as much to preempt American diplomatic action and an American diplomatic deal with Iran as Iran's nuclear weapons.
This was in July 2025. This was in July 2025. So he is, and he did this to, this is what he is. He's a house curry. He's doing what he needs to do to have the favor of powerful people that he feels like he needs to have the favor of to be validated in the world. These Zakaria are the types of people that allowed that Britain did deals with in order to exploit India. These are the people who sold out their own people. The exact same attitudes. Exact same attitudes. This attitude of wanting adjacency to power, to white supremacy. These people will always be this sick. Christian Amanpour too. These people are everywhere in our society. And Zakaria is one of those people. Think about it. Imagine saying this about a genocide, guys. This is what he did. He downplayed what Netanyahu has done in Gaza. He downplayed the genocide of the Palestinians. He's downplayed the fact that Netanyahu's committing gross war crimes in Lebanon. He's gross war crimes in Syria, gross war crimes in Yemen, gross war crimes in Iran. And he got it wrong. He got it wrong too. He completely got it wrong. Now he's backtracking because he fucked up. His analysis was completely wrong. And this is his latest thing, right? A revolution is unfolding. People like this, people like Fareed Zakaria are the worst type of people, especially for minority groups. Because they are used as faces because they are supposed to represent these minority groups. Brown guy having a great position at CNN, considered this geopolitical genius. And he validates so much about the minority group that he represents. He's dangerous.
Large-scale change causes anxiety, and anxious societies ask more of politics. Citizens want leaders to restore order, provide security, and help them regain a sense of control over forces that seem increasingly beyond anyone's grasp.
Yeah, think about that, crinkly fig. He is manufacturing consent to destroy the lives of people who are going through very similar things to his own ancestors at the hands of the same white supremacist structure. this is what astonishes me when I see people like Fareed Zakaria talk like this, is they've forgotten their own history. They've forgotten that the environment they live in is never actually going to accept them, no matter how hard they try. No matter how hard they, manufacture consent. But they still keep manufacturing consent for these things. It's tragic as fuck, bro.
But while today's technology dramatically increases expectations, it also makes democratic governments less capable by comparison. We summon a car these days in 3 minutes. A package arrives the same day. Artificial intelligence answers complicated questions in seconds, doing work that took people months in mere minutes. Naturally, citizens begin to expect similar efficiency from government. But democracy is not designed for speed. It's designed for legitimacy. It bargains, compromises, consults independent courts, protects vulnerable groups, and balances competing interests. Those safeguards are precisely what distinguish democracy from authoritarianism. Yet in an age shaped by technology's warp speed, these increasingly look like paralysis. Social media widens the gap. Every governmental mistake becomes instantly visible. Every disappointment becomes a viral controversy. Every frustrated citizen can mobilize thousands of others before governments have even begun to respond. This helps explain the strange trajectory of modern populism. Politicians such as Donald Trump, Jair Bolsonaro, Javier Milei, and others rose to prominence, promising to bulldoze.
I feel like I have to now consume news just like a chef consumes his own food, chopped, sliced, and very concise. Yeah, you got to understand. I think once you understand the geopolitical nature of the world, once you understand why the world is the way it is and what the structures of oppression are, what different geopolitical tensions are, then you actually don't even have to worry about what news source you consume. Because once you know, you can analyze it yourself. You're not just being told, you're analyzing. So it doesn't matter if you watch CNN then. It doesn't matter if you watch Fox News. It doesn't matter. Nothing can propagandize you. Nothing can propagandize you. Nothing can indoctrinate you because you are going beyond the news you're being fed. You're taking the time to understand the world. And when that happens, you can consume Fareed Zakaria. It's okay. You can consume Fareed Zakaria and you can criticize and you can call him out for all of his stuff. You can listen. And you won't have to, just agree with it. It's an interesting place to be when you can listen to any news organization and be able to clearly understand what they're actually trying to say. And where their loyalties, are. They say CNN says it's unbiased. Bullshit. It's pro-West. You can tell. It's pro-white supremacy. It's pro-capitalism. Like, it absolutely has a bias.
Through institutional gridlock. Yet once in office, most have encountered the same reality as the leaders they displaced. Today's insurgents quickly become tomorrow's disappointing incumbents.
NPR, so liberal, yes.
People don't seem to have lost confidence in democracy. They have not turned their backs on elections, constitutions, and independent courts.
Fareed Zakaria will also talk about developed economies. He'll also talk about modern democracies. He'll talk about modern economies. All of these, he's just, all of that bullshit is he's just saying the West. Okay, this is the one thing that European colonization did extremely well. That was rebrand extremely violent and negative things into being almost mundane. That's what European colonization did well. European colonization took genocide, slavery, wealth theft, extractionism, all of those things, and renamed it capitalism. Like capitalism, benign almost, isn't it? And that's what European colonization has done well. They changed. They changed. They said they abolished slavery, but they just rejigged the model. They started calling it black codes and convict leasing and indentured labor. But that is I think the core sort of success of European colonization. It was the rebranding of fundamentally evil things into sounding mundane and benign.
But they are deeply unhappy with democratic performance. Democracies must once again prove that they can build housing and infrastructure, modernize public services, manage technological change, reduce inequality, and do so with urgency and effectiveness.
Think about the way that modern slavery is talked about, right? Modern slavery is talked about by capitalists in a lot of senses. Like, white supremacists and capitalists will say, hey, yeah, transatlantic slavery was bad, but there are more slaves today in modern slavery. But then they won't tell you that the cause of modern slavery is profiteering by the capitalist system. That modern slavery exists because of capitalism. Because that modern slavery adds around 230 billion in profit every year. Again, this is another thing that European colonization did. It stopped doing the bad shit directly. It started to, through various different institutions and systems, started to push the bad stuff, the direct bad stuff, down the supply chain. And then it was so far down the supply chain that plausible deniability was a real thing. They could just deny that they knew about it. You know, it's it's that marketing, that branding side of European colonization has to be studied, because they made real evil shit sound extremely mundane.
History offers some grounds for optimism. Free societies often look weakest in the midst of great technological upheaval because they move slowly and argue constantly. Yet over time, they have usually adapted better than autocracies precisely because they can learn, correct mistakes, and change course without violence or repression. Democratic leaders should not try to
this is a really good example in today's world, guys, is what's happening in the Mediterranean. Over 1,000 people fleeing displacement and violence in Africa, the Middle East, Asia, have drowned in the Mediterranean this year. Right? They've drowned in the Mediterranean. How? You may ask yourself, right? Like, oh, like who did that? Who made that happen? Like, why are there so many people dying and no one is being held to account? Well, the European Union has done what I've just said. It's moved the the accountability chain. They've moved the accountability chain so far down the supply chain that the EU can claim, it can deny that they are involved in those killings. And the way the EU has done that is the EU has moved its border. The EU has moved its border further out. So now the borders of Europe are actually within Libya, Tunisia. They're paying militaries. They're paying they're paying militant groups to be their border security. And they've created a supply chain where the EU can have plausible deniability. But ultimately, it is border control, right? But they've got so many third parties now operating this border control system, they can just say, hey, this was a tragic accident. This was a tragic accident. All while the West and the extractionism of the West and the systems implemented by the West are the same systems.
Gift sub detected. Sharing is caring. You shared. You cared.
These systems implemented by the West are the same systems that are causing the displacement and war of the people who are drowning in the Mediterranean. It's the same systems that's causing the displacement. So not only is the West causing the displacement and war for these people trying to flee, but they're also sponsoring their death by creating a supply chain in this border control racket. And this is a great example of how the West and European colonization has created these systems where it has pushed accountability down the supply chain, that it can just claim, oh, yeah, we are we can take the moral high ground here. It wasn't us. It was that other country. Or it was those other people. We didn't know anything about it. But this is how these supply chains are built. This is how these supply chains are built. It is so inhumane. It is so exploitative. It is so white supremacist in nature.
Outrace technology. They can't. But they should prove through relentless focus and competence that democracies can deliver. Then people will understand that the friction of accountability and the weight of legitimacy are not bugs in the system.
Bro, if you think you're so supreme, this guy's like, your countries build nothing to help your people. Yes, we are supreme, bro. If you think you're so supreme, why are you so worried? If you think you're so supreme, why are you so worried about your replacement?
They are the features that keep us free. Artificial.
It's you are, bro. You are. I don't. Y-O-U-R-E. Your punctuation's wrong. Your and you are different.
Intelligence is fueling the American economy.
Chuds are the most stupid people,
right now. The appetite for anything AI.
You will never replace whites. We run the world, Baljit. Wow. That is so smart, honestly. That was such an intelligent statement.
AI-related seems never-ending as tech companies rush to build data centers, buy chips, and fuel technology development. But so much of this spending is one massive bet. and many on Wall Street are worried about whether they will see returns on these investments. Here's part one of my exclusive interview with Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. Satya Nadella, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Fareed, for having me.
Are we in an AI bubble?
Oh, look, one house curry talking to another house curry. How great. This should be a riveting conversation. Let's go.
And has it begun to deflate? You have a 30% stake in OpenAI. They have promised to spend hundreds of billions of dollars. They make tens of billions of dollars. They'll make $25 billion this year in revenue. It just feels like the math doesn't add up and there's going to be a moment of truth. Am I wrong?
I think the moment of truth.
Fuck that guy, bro. His voice is so annoying. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh, I have no respect for these fucking people, bro.
Truth really more is the following. The way I look at it is, this is a new input. This is a new general purpose technology that is going to drive productivity, and that productivity has to translate into very broad spread economic growth that is economy wide in terms of GDP growth. And if we don't see that, then we are going to have a problem. So unless we see...
He's probably having beer in his mobile home in Alabama and worrying about whites being replaced. Yeah. Scrolling on TikTok, yelling at brown creators. Great. You're right, RM.
That broad economic growth, we're not going to have this movie end well. But I am all about how do you ensure, not about any one firm, right, quite frankly. It's about every firm in the economy, right, whether it's a small business, whether it's a large multinational or a public sector institution. Can they see real benefits of this technology? We are in the early innings of it, but there's real proof points of that.
Wait, we got a gift sub as well. Oh, yo, Flexo. Thank you so much for the gift sub. Ravenardo da Vinci. Welcome. Thank you so much.
So the big news this week is that a Chinese firm, Moonshot AI, released a model, Kimi, that is open source or open weight, which means you can kind of see the innards of it, which American firms by and large do not allow. People think it's very, very good, almost as good as the top American models. Is it not likely that most of the world is going to adopt these open weight Chinese models because they're much cheaper? They can do mostly what you need to do. Most companies are not using AI to solve Fermat's theorem. They're using it to rationalize their inventory systems or things like that. So is this, does this mean China has an edge?
When I think about, let's say, American competitiveness in the digital sector or in tech, it's always come from not any one thing, but it's come from this approach I think the US has always taken, which is the ecosystem approach all over the world. It's been export-led. It's been about trust in our technology, right? So, for example, if you take the Chinese models, guess what?
Let me just be clear about this. That is not how the US works. The US works through coercion, domination, and weaponization of institutions in order to maintain dominance. For the first time, all of that shit has not worked. And these guys are freaking the fuck out.
Where these models run. They run on a lot of the hyperscalers that are American all over the world. In fact, that's good because these are open weight models. That means we get to monitor them, we get to test them, we get to post-train them. So when Thinking Machines releases a new model, is that an American model? Is it a Chinese model? They may have been a base model that was Chinese, but they've done post-training, they've released it. So I think that one of the things that's lost in this is the understanding even of how the US became competitive in the first place. They didn't become competitive because of one invention. We became competitive because we took our technology, we built a rich ecosystem where others could participate in other countries and trust our stewardship of this ecosystem. And as long as that remains, we will absolutely be competitive and we will win. And Chinese will have a role in it, whether it's in the open weight models or other technologies.
Yeah, just another house curry doing house curry things. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, it's so confusing to these fucking people. It's so confusing to these fucking people because they don't know their real identity. They don't have one. They are the obedient Indian who was easy to lead or to control. The obedient Indian.
Follower detected.
Brow to Brezhnev. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, these are the obedient Indians, you know? The ones who can be controlled easily. They'll do whatever the hell you want them to do. Goodbye, Noisy. My patients await me. Oh, Anne! Take care. Have a great day. It was lovely to see you. I really enjoyed the Bolly movie, Three Idiots. The Bollywood movie, Three Idiots. Nice. Yeah, so for me, guys, I think true change. This is the way I think it's really effective to start seeing capitalism, right? I know we say, number one, I think we've got to realize as a collective that capitalism has been often misunderstood, or at least described in a way that is so simplistic that it doesn't truly portray what capitalism truly is, right? What I mean by that is capitalism isn't just this like thing that exists where people, make profit. It isn't just the stock market. Capitalism is the rebranding, or at least the version of capitalism we have today, is the rebranding of European colonization itself. We cannot look at capitalism as something that is like this system that's disconnected and it's equitable for all and everyone can benefit the same amount. It's not. Capitalism is European colonization rebranded. And if someone asks you, oh, well, how does that, like, prove it, right? Prove it. The best way to prove that is to look at the IMF, to look at how the IMF sees the world, the International Monetary Fund. The IMF has a couple of categories of countries: advanced economies and developing economies. All the advanced economies are Western nations and allies of the West. All of them. And developing nations, China is a developing nation. Right? And then the question to ask is, well, how did the advanced economies become advanced? Like, where did they get their resources from? How do they keep continuing to benefit from the system? Like, and you can't ignore the amount of wealth stolen from the rest of the world and centralized in Europe. You can't ignore those things. You can't ignore what European colonization has done to the world over the last 600 years. So capitalism, we've got to get very clear that capitalism is European colonization rebranded. Okay, that's number one. Number two is capitalism is often conflated with commerce. And commerce existed before European colonization. Commerce will continue to exist after capitalism. But a lot of people who say things like, "Oh, you hate capitalism, but then you use the phone and the technology that capitalism brings you." No, mofo. Labor made these products. Commerce and trade bought the products here. Capitalism exploited the labor for profit. So capitalism and commerce are often used interchangeably by capitalists themselves. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third concept that I want to talk about, and this is something that I've been talking about for the last month or so, and that is when we say separation between church and state, especially in democracies, we in America, there's a separation between church and state. I think we need to include capitalism in that, because I believe that I think that capitalism is a sort of religion itself. I think capitalism or capitalists are God-fearing people. It's just that their God is the stock market. So in order to dismantle the power of capitalism, or at least start dismantling it, I believe we need to see capitalism for what it is. If we don't have, when we say separation between church and state, we need to include capitalism in that as well. We need to see capitalism, a separation between capitalism and state too. Because ultimately, I think capitalism is a religion. It is this blind faith to leave everything up to the stock market. And as long as the line keeps going up, everything will be fine. It's blind faith. And we can't have that in an operating democracy. Just as
New follower detected.
Just as the church needs to be separate from state, so does capitalism. And I think these sorts of concepts are things we should develop on and begin to implement, especially in the conversations we have. We need to start doing this, right? Capitalists too often have simplistic talking points, and we need to understand how to speak to those. Like, hey, you're using Israeli tech, like that other person came in and said. You're using a phone. If you don't like capitalism, why are you using the phone? All of this stuff. We need to be able to hold our ground. Otherwise, we're going to have people like fucking Satya Nadella here directing, or at least leading the world in a direction that their egos want the world to go in, because they have so much resource. We don't want a guy like Satya Nadella to tell us which direction the world should go in. We just don't want that. We just don't want that. We don't want Satya Nadella to tell us what direction the world should be going in. We don't want Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. These guys shouldn't be directing us. Like, what the fuck is going on? So we need to start educating ourselves about these things, because one thing that European colonization has done to the world is make some of the most violent and insane shit sound mundane. And if we don't educate ourselves, we're going to have house curries like Satya Nadella here telling us what we should do with our lives, you know? It's tragic, man. And they'll turn the other cheek when there's genocide happening because, you know, growth is more important than anything else. These people are so I think they're not as intelligent as people make them out to be. I think people like Satya Nadella are extremely obedient, and they'll do what they're asked to do. But ultimately, they are leaders. They are people who help keep the status quo going as much as possible. They help keep the current structures and institutions working like they are supposed to. I don't think, and within their own sort of highly controlled and scripted CEO world, they're fine. But once you put them out into the open, they are absolute freaks. Like Elon Musk when he does interviews. The guy is the stupidest dude in the world. Like, he sounds so dumb. I think when they're in boardrooms, they're very good at scripted conversations. But when you put them into the real world and you start asking them real questions in unstructured platforms, they start to crumble, man. I don't think these people are as intelligent as we've been told they are. Capitalism is the exploitation of the working class. That's not compatible with democracy. Yeah. They're very good at making the line go up, but they lack awareness about anything else other than that. Hey, Cass. They're really good with all the yes men kissing their ass. Yeah, and the other thing is, like, I feel like they're really surprised when people hate them. I think they like, I've seen people on stage, and you know, the pro-Palestine people will disrupt it. I feel like they're taken by surprise by those things. Like, what the fuck did they expect? Do you think that you can keep selling your technology to genocide and not have people react? And in most cases, they don't know what to say because that talk they were having on stage was completely scripted, right? And when you put them out into the real world and the real world shows up, they have no fucking clue what to do. They have no clue what to do. They're so surprised that people hate. I think Elon Musk's biggest surprise is how many people hate him. I truly think Elon Musk feels like he is a beloved human being on Earth. Let's watch more of this this tech sell-off. I think the tech sell-off bit is very interesting. S-Beers or Parasite, they both function the same. They live off the nutrients of the host, but doesn't care about the host or the ecosystem they spawn them. All that matters is their own self and how much they can extract from the host. Yeah, exactly. He certainly tries to delude himself of that. Yep. He definitely believes that in an echo chamber. Elon needs to share his money and ketamine or get the job. Chat, I love you so much. I love you so much, chat.
Donald Trump certainly has his way of reassuring the markets. On the Iran situation, he told reporters that we're having good talks, and I think there's a good chance that something could happen. Could being the key word. And if it doesn't,
hey, Rabbit
we go
Lady,
back to
good to
doing
see you
what we were
too.
doing 2 days ago, which is bombing them. Now, oil traders interpreted that statement in the most optimistic way possible, and that led to the price of Brent crude oil dropping from 102 to
that's okay.
$87 a barrel in
QS.
just 4 days, which is an insane amount of volatility, which just goes to show that nobody knows what's going to happen next, not even President Trump, who's desperately looking for a way out.
Rabbit Lady, thank you for joining the fan club. Thank you.
Now, the ongoing fall in oil prices means there's a lower risk of inflation getting out of control, which led to a reasonably solid day for the Australian market. Shares of Harvey Norman went up, even after the company was hit with a $35 million fine for misleading customers about the hidden costs of their 60-month interest-free payments.
Hey, Amira.
And Origin Energy didn't do too badly, even though 900,000 of its current and former customers had their details compromised in a data breach. The Aussie dollar, meanwhile, has slipped to 69.7 US cents. Now, overseas, it was another bad day for tech, AI, and microchip stocks.
This is the interesting bit.
Like Samsung and SK Hynix. Those two, in particular, account for more than half the value of the Korean stock market, which is why it got absolutely pummeled. Just as the risk of corporate lending to the US tech giants surged to a record high, along with the cost of insuring that debt against default. So it's just another sign that people are getting increasingly worried about the huge amounts of money these companies are pouring into AI with no guaranteed return on investment. And that's finance.
This is so telling for the capitalist system as we know it, right? Like the capitalist system rebranded, or European colonization rebranded to capitalism. That system at the moment is having having a really bad time, because that system was never supposed to allow a nation in the global south to supersede it, or at least supersede the West. I mean, it was supposed to be the system where the global south remained the back office of Western greed. And the West could enjoy the spoils for the rest of time. That's how it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be wealth is transferred from the global south to the West. The global south will remain the workforce. But that's not what's happening right now. And it fundamentally reshaped by China in particular. But it was the ego of Western nations that decided, globalization would be the best thing, because then the West wouldn't have to do all the shitty work. Someone else can do that, and all manufacturing work can happen there. All the dirty work those other people can do in those other countries. And the West will, enjoy the fruits of other people's labor, like European colonization has done for so long. But that move has deindustrialized the West, and it has caused more equitable outcomes than the West would like. And to me, it is such a transformational moment right now that China can announce the release of a chip-making technology that matches what TSMC has in Taiwan, or is like one generation lower than what TSMC has, and can make 95% say of the world's chips with those machines, which is what caused the tech sell-off today. Is those chips that have been heralded as at least the chip monopoly that TSMC had in Taiwan has been almost completely eroded by this announcement by China. It's insane, guys. I hope you understand that China was just supposed to be the workforce for the West. That's all China was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be able to match innovation of what the West was doing at all. It wasn't supposed to do that. It was just supposed to be, China, make this for us. And and it just made it and shut up and didn't play in global capitalism as any sort of big player. But that's changed. And I think it's a fascinating time in geopolitics. Something that I am super excited to be in the position, to have the privilege to cover, because honestly, I think it is such a good time to be keeping track of all of this. It's just next level. There's an excellent place to mine rare earth metals under/around the lake that supplies my city's drinking water. China's actually willing to poison more areas with industry. Jeez. I feel like the concept of meritocracy is very similar to what you talk about with white supremacy, but somehow people in general are comfortable with it. The idea that a doctor is of more value than a nurse or a janitor. Yeah. Meritocracy, yep, the economic power shift is happening in real time. Yeah. And yeah, this is why, guys, I'll always like come back to this point, and it's really important to make this point. I'm not just making it because, you know, it's like I'm not just trying to be taking a morally pure position here or something. It's important to make this point. And when people say Zionists control the world and what's happening, all the wars and stuff happening in the world are because of Zionism, you just have to look at them and laugh, because what's clearly happening in the world at the moment is a massive shift from a unipolar to a multipolar world. It's not that Zionism controls the West. It's that the West is in a precarious state where it's going to lose the power and influence that it has had, or it's already eroding. And the West is trying to protect and maintain as much power as possible. This notion that the West needs to be controlled to do evil shit is just the craziest thing for me. When has the West ever needed to be controlled to do crazy, evil shit? When? Zionism, it isn't about Zionism controlling anything. It's a system of oppression that has been implemented over 600 years. And the West is just trying to maintain it. The West is trying to maintain status quo, whereas the global South is trying to move forward and progress. The West doesn't want to progress, because the West knows progress means more equitable outcomes for everybody. And that means a multipolar world. But it's transformational, but also dangerous. I'm excited to be here having these conversations with you guys, okay? Because to me, I'm learning. Hopefully you're getting something out of it. But for me, having these conversations is an absolute privilege. Thank you, Criminal Crossovers. Guys, let's call it that. I got to take my dog out for a walk. He's sulking probably somewhere. But thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you.
Thank you, friends.
Thank you so much. Hey, who can we raid, everybody? Who can we raid? We've got a few people here tonight. Let's show the love. Let's show the love to someone. Let's show the love to someone. Thank you for this. It makes me want to teach older people in my community about media literacy. Have a good one, Noisy. Oh, thank you, Just for Camera. Absolutely. Modi jump scare.
Thank you, friends.
Struggle just went live. Nice. Let's go. Modi jump scare. Oh, I love this soundbite, by the way. This is the best soundbite we have.
Thank you, friends.
Kakite, everybody. Take care. It's been a pleasure. I hope you enjoy Struggle's streams. Struggle's awesome. If you want to jump on the raid, jump on Twitch. Struggle's a great streamer. You should check him out if you haven't. So jump on Twitch. Struggle is on. Nice.
Thank you, friends.
Okay.
Reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
Hope Woofers has a good meal. Sleep well. Yeah, me too. I'm Maori, so I can mock people like Slippery Seymour and Nicole McKee, the house Kumaras. Lisa, I love it. The house Kumaras, excellent.
So there we are.
Excellent. The house Kumaras is, oh, good for you. Don't forget Winston Peters as well, Lisa. All right, everybody. Kakite Pomarie.
I want to be a good boy.
Kakite Pomarie. I love all of you. Take care, and I will catch you all soon. Here we go, Raiders. In 3, 2, 1, please say hello to Struggle for me. I'm going to raid and run. Take care, everybody. Free Palestine. Kakite, folks. See you, Blue Room.